Happy Monday, Flosstube. It is Monday, January 6th, and we are back for a brand new year of Because Mondays and Monday Flosstube whip updates, bag updates, Friday off the grid stitch with me videos. It's a brand new fresh page for 2020. My name is Caroline. Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. If you're here for the first time, or if you've been around for a long time, it's nice to have you here to visit with me today. The first part of today's episode I want to spend talking about fundraising. I know you may be tempted to skip forward until you see all of the pretty stitchy things that I have to show you today. And I promise you there's some good stitchy stuff to share today. I promise. And I'm going to get there. But it's really important to me today to talk about fundraising at the very front, because I have some really great things to tell you and some things to talk about, some things to discuss. And so I'm going to just put it up here at the front so that we can talk about it. And I'm sure you won't mind. So first of all, the fundraising for Muscular Dystrophy Canada. The final numbers, I'm still waiting for the final number, but I have a preliminary number, and it's a really good one. So my goal in December through Flossmas was to raise $3,000 for Muscular Dystrophy Canada. And we had three ways that we were doing that: through the fundraising auctions through Michelle Bendy Stitchy, and Patty Brake from Newfoundland, 4 boys and an NL girl, designed a pattern for Flossmas 2019, and 388 copies of that pattern were sold in the month of December, which is amazing. And then the third way was through direct donation. People could directly donate to Muscular Dystrophy Canada through a link that I had provided, where we were able to keep track of the people that were donating, whose stitchers were donating, so that now we can find out how much we were able to raise. So my goal was $3,000. We raised $3,000. We raised more than $3,000. We raised more than $4,000. We raised more than $5,000. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. We raised about 5,600 Canadian dollars, which is phenomenal. Thank you. Thank you so much. Through Michelle Bendy's auctions, $2,048 was raised. 388 patterns were sold through Patty Brake. Patty herself bumped that donation up and donated $700 through those pattern sales, plus a little extra donation of her own to Muscular Dystrophy Canada, because you all bought her pattern. 388 of you bought her pattern. Thank you. Thirdly, direct donation. From what I can tell, because I know when you bought auction items, you also directly donated to Muscular Dystrophy Canada. So preliminary numbers were that 122 people donated to Muscular Dystrophy Canada for Off the Grid fundraising. So like over 90 of you were just out of the goodness of your hearts, because I asked and you donated. And that is amazing. That is incredible. And thank you. Thank you so much. Now, the new charity for this month for Michelle Bendy Stitchy is Parkinson's, through the Michael J. Fox Parkinson Foundation. She has designed another pattern following Patty's influence. Michelle and Lollipop Stitches have both designed charity patterns where all of the proceeds from those patterns are going to be donated directly to the Michael J. Fox Parkinson Foundation. The pattern is $6 US, and she's already sold at least 80 copies of it. I mean, this is an excellent way to just provide a little bit of cash directly where it needs to go. So also, I missed the auction items from Michelle last week to talk about those, Make sure you check out her auction items this week for those people who like to bid on those auctions and win those items and donate directly through that means. Okay, next, I had some emails from people. Now stick with me here, because I'm going to get there in a way, in a roundabout way. People would send me an email and they would say, I donated. I'm sorry it was such a small amount, but this was all I could manage. You know, whatever, word it how you want. And I received numerous emails like this. And what I want you to understand is that no amount is too small. People can afford different things. And for some people, even $1 is too much. And that is the truth. For some people, even $1 is too much. No amount is too small. If you can directly donate $1, $2, $5, it all adds up. Over 90 of you managed to raise over $2,853 to direct donation to Muscular Dystrophy Canada. And so all those little bits and pieces, they all added up into this phenomenal gift that goes directly towards helping people with muscular dystrophy. And so what I want to tie that into today is something that's been on my mind a lot, and I'm sure has also been on your minds a lot. So why I bring that up, why it matters, why $1 donation matters, direct donation, because I want to talk about Australia, the fires in Australia. And I know this isn't stitching related. I'm well aware that this isn't stitching related. You may think, but I actually really think it is stitching related, because I tell you this, I know an awful lot of people, stitchers, who live in Australia, who are directly affected by these catastrophic fires. This is unprecedented, what is happening over there. The imagery that's coming through the news is apocalyptic. It's unimaginable. I checked in with Carrie, creative curator, this morning, because I know she lives in Canberra, and I had seen a news clip that was talking about the air quality, and I just sent her a message and I said, you know, how are you? How are things going? And she said that her father has been asked to evacuate his residence twice. She has friends who have had to, you know, defend their property. Like, this is, we know so many Australian stitchers, and this matters. This really matters. Relief efforts matter. And I know that you have heard about the various charity patterns that are out that you can purchase. There's a koala. I just watched about it in Michelle's video, her most recent one. I will find a link. There's a small koala chart going around, and I can't remember the designer, but the proceeds are for, this is terrible, because I didn't want to focus on the charity patterns, because also Sassy Jack Stitchery. Sassy Jack's has a free pattern out that if you stitch it and promote like your finished stitching on any social media, they will make a donation in your name towards relief. So, and I think those are amazing. And other Flosstubers have talked about those already, but I want to encourage that other method of direct donation, because where your money goes, I think it really matters. And I like to know sometimes where my money is going. So I will buy the charity pattern, but I also would like to make a direct donation to a particular cause where I know where it's going, where I feel like maybe the money is best suited to go. So what I did this morning was there was an article on cnet.com, and I'm going to leave a link to the article down below. I'm also going to actually copy and paste their list of relief organizations that will accept direct donations. And I think it's an excellent, excellent list. So if you'll just allow me 5 minutes, I'm just going to briefly tell you where these particular things are. I'm not going to read everything, but just so you have an awareness of how you can help. You can directly donate to their firefighting efforts. The NSW Rural Fire Service has a donation page. The Country Fire Authority is the state of Victoria's rural firefighting service, and you can donate directly to them. The Country Fire Service in South Australia also takes direct donations. If you would like to support the firefighters in the state of Queensland, you can donate to the Rural Fire Brigades Association via their website. Again, I am going to leave links to, I'm going to copy and paste directly from this article. I will leave a link to the article in the drop-down box below. And I believe in Australian talk, you would be donating to the fireys. Is that right? The fireys? Many of these fires, I mean, like the vast majority of them are being fought by volunteer firemen. Let that sink in for a moment. The courage, we've all seen, you know, we have, I have visited California many times. I know that California often deals with devastating fires. In Ontario in 2018, the summer of 2018, we had a summer of drought, and we had terrible forest fires in northern Ontario 2 summers ago. This is beyond scope that we can imagine, and your money matters. It matters. So that's you can donate directly to firefighting efforts. You can also support various relief and support efforts. The Australian Red Cross. There's a GoFundMe page that's been set up as a relief fund for First Nations communities to offer culturally sensitive, specific, direct support to some of those communities with critical costs to cover expenses. There is a Victorian bushfire appeal. The food bank is taking donations to help people. You can donate at its website to the Victorian relief effort. So that's for the food bank. There is a not-for-profit organization called Give It, where it cares for those in need by letting you donate goods. It then passes on. It also accepts items or money at its donation page. The St. Vincent de Paul Society, they are helping people directly on the ground by rebuilding, providing food and clothing, and emotional support. They have a donation page. There will be a link there. This I also thought was quite important. Longer-term support for communities affected by the fires will be necessary once the fires settle, and that's where the Foundation for Rural and Regional Renewal comes in. You can donate to the FRRR here. Also, the Salvation Army has a disaster appeal donations page set up. So that's where you can donate if you are interested in relief and support efforts. I also have a list of links below if you are interested in helping any of the relief efforts that are geared towards the wildlife that is, yeah, I can't talk about it too much because it is, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. The RSPCA bushfire appeal is one. It helps protect pets, livestock, and wildlife, helps to evacuate animals from disaster zones, etc. The World Wildlife Fund accepts donations to help support conservation activities, particularly related to koalas. Money can help provide emergency care during bushfires. Zoos Victoria have established a bushfire emergency wildlife fund, which will help with emergency vet assistance and scientific intervention. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but scientific intervention. not sure. The Port Macquarie Koala Hospital has already raised in excess of $2 million to help search for and protect the koalas in the region. You can donate at its GoFundMe page. The Kangaroo Island Wildlife Park was hit hard by the fires in South Australia. It's asking for donations to help with vet costs, koala milk, and extra enclosures on its GoFundMe page. There's another wildlife rescue organization called WIRES. It's a rescue organization with a myriad ways to help Australia's native fauna, and they have a website. And then at the end of this, there is a long laundry list of fundraising and auctions that are all ongoing, all underway, in order to raise funds to help those who are being affected. So I have provided, I have cut and copied a list from the CNET article that I was reading this morning, and I will also provide a link directly to that article. It was published on January 4th, and it has some photos and videos of the fires that I feel are important that we see, that we know about, that we know that this is happening. And there will be a list of places that you can help should you choose. And thanks for listening. And to all of my Australian stitching friends, the Australian stitching community, we are worried about you. We hope you're safe. And if you need help in any way, we hope that you'll reach out to the rest of the stitching community so that we can do whatever we can. And we're thinking about you. Okay, so let's get to some stitching. Let's get to talking about some stitching now. I had some Because Monday giveaways to do first, and I had 2 giveaways last week. You can find these giveaways over on the Facebook group, Friday Off the Grid Facebook group, and all you need to do is look for the photo of the particular giveaway and then leave a comment below the picture of that giveaway, and then you are entered. So first up, I had a brand new issue of the 2019 Christmas Ornament magazine, and this was courtesy of Maria, and I had 241 comments, 241 entries on this particular issue. The random number generator chose comment number 232, which was, the lucky winner was Tracy Frossard. So congratulations, Tracy. I'll get this out in the mail to you later this week, actually, in the very next box that I send to the States. So that should go out. I am riding the struggle bus today. This video is going to be so chopped up and edited because I don't know whether I'm coming or going today. It's my first day back to a regular schedule. The kids are back at school. John's back at work. You know, the last 2 weeks have been, you know, you wake up and you don't even barely know what day of the week it is. I wasn't on holiday, I was still working, but when you work from home and you've got people in your space all the time, not that I minded. I didn't mind. I love my family, but sometimes it's a little hard to get things done. And so today I'm looking at all the stuff that I still have to do, and you know, you try to do it all at once. It's just, I need to make a list. I need to sit down and make a list. Okay. So I told you who won the Just Cross Stitch Ornament magazine. Congratulations, Tracy. And the other giveaway that we had last week was the Lizzie Kate Inspiration Boxer. This beautiful, beautiful pattern. This comes with the linen and the buttons. Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. And I think that's an excellent sentiment for today's episode. So I had 334 comments on this kit. I mean, it doesn't have the floss, so it's not a full kit, but you know what I mean, right? It's coming in a case, so I'm calling it a kit. 4 of those comments were not entries. 3 of them were me going blah, 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 because I was answering a couple of questions that people had in the comment field. And the side note, we need to try not to do that, because when there's over 330 comments, it makes it hard for me to count who the winner is. Because the random number generator chose comment number 195. So congratulations, Susie Miller Marshall. You are the lucky winner of the Lizzie Kate Inspiration Boxer. And I will get that out to you as soon as I can. So congratulations. Because it's Monday, so we have a new giveaway for today. And this one is a special one too, because I was sent an email a few weeks back now from Judy. And Judy H was also starting the Red House Sampler. This is the stitch along being hosted by Brian Blitzstitch, and I know lots of other people are also stitching this, but I decided to jump on Brian's bandwagon and stitch the Red House Sampler, as well as lots of other people decided to join with Brian as well. And Judy emailed me and she said, guess what? I actually have an extra copy of the Red House Sampler. Would you like it so that you could give it away? And I said, why yes, Judy. Yes, please, I really would. And so Judy sent me one. And so guess what? I get to send one out for a lucky winner. Look at that. Now, I should take note. Judy actually sent me the one that she briefly opened to look at, and she took the thread key out. She emailed me after to let me know. She said, I just found the thread card. She thought she'd sent me the other one. You know, we've all done that, right? So I can't send this out until I have the thread key for it, but somebody's gonna win it next Monday. Can you believe it? Look, I know, right? So thank you, Judy. I'm super excited to send this one out in the mail. So all you need to do is you need to be a member of the Facebook group. That's where the Because Monday draws happen. And leave me a comment on the post where you see this picture. I know it's in the plastic wrap, but I'm not taking it out again until I stick the thread key in there. And maybe you'll be the lucky winner of this amazing pattern. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Now, Judy also tucked in another pattern there, so I'm gonna show it to you, but I'm not giving it away this week. But it will be up for giveaway in a few weeks, perhaps. This is the Beth Twist Heartstring Samplery tea ball ornaments. How cute are those, right? Those are the ones where you actually do the physical stitching on the little tea strainer itself. I mean, how adorable is that? So thank you, Judy. I'm gonna save this one and give it away in a few weeks. So perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, I also in the mail got a holiday card from the Bee Sisters. And these girls, so this is them as girls, and honestly, if this picture doesn't, I mean, that's just still them, right? To a T. You can see the expressions on their face. They haven't changed much, have they? So thank you, girls. I love the card. It's beautiful. Very nice. All right, so I told you about the Red House Sampler, so I should show you my new start. New Year's Day, I started my Red House Sampler. Now, you're gonna see a whole lot of fabric. So this was a fat quarter of Xju Designs Rocky Mountain 40 count. And, oop, it's upside down. There. Because I started in the bottom left corner. And so a fat quarter is more than I needed. But I had, it's like an extra, I'm gonna have maybe an extra 6 inches of fabric on this end. But it was already serged, the fabric was serged. I had stretcher bars that were super long. So instead of cutting it and having to reserge the fabric, I just attached it to my scroll rods, and I'll just cut off the extra when I'm done. So there's my start. It uses DMC. And because I'm stitching it on a 40 count fabric, I'm stitching 1 thread over 2 on 40 count. And you can also see that I have painted fingernails. What? I know, I never ever, like, this is a proper manicure, folks. Sarah took me out on Saturday and treated me to a manicure. So those of you who watched the Friday Stitch With Me video, maybe you won't gasp in horror at my terrible cuticles this week. Not that you ever do. You're all very kind, but you know what I mean, right? So, ta-da! Red House Sampler. We started it. I started it. So
I'm not sure I understand.
I wasn't talking to you, Siri. I think it was recording my entire conversation as a question. That's weird. Okay, so I only worked on this on New Year's Day. So just 1 day of stitching because I wanted to stick with my plan of fitting in 24 hours of stitching progress per large scale project. That's how I would like to work my stitching this year. So I went back to the project that I was working on before, which was my Sivan. And as of today, I haven't stitched at all today yet. Stitching will happen tonight. But as of last night, I have completed 11.5 hours of my 24. So before I show you, I'm going to insert a picture right here of what it looked like 11.5 hours of stitching time ago. So right here. Okay, and after 11.5 hours, here's where I am. Right? Look at that. Substantial progress, right? Okay, so let me bring it a little closer so you can see. I think it's focusing. I'm leaned over so that I can actually see what you can see in the camera, and I'm pretty sure it's focused. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, I love it. So, I think since I started this 24-hour chunk of time, I've probably stitched about a full inch of progress. Not bad, right? And I've kept all of my needle minders on here because, well, I'm putting it right back on my floor frame as soon as we're done talking. And what I would do is I would load up 3 or 4 needles with thread, and then I could just fill in the various spots. So this is halfway. 1, 2, 3, right here. That's halfway. And so I'm trying now to work my way up from the left-hand side and over and fill in. So we shall see what another 12.5 hours will get me. So I'd really like to see if I can finish those 12.5 hours this week, but I don't know if that's going to happen because I have a fair bit of work to do this week. But it's all good. I like my work, so I'm lucky. So yeah, that is Sivan. I have to tell you the details. That chart is called Sivan, S-E-V-A-N, and it's by Landmark Tapestries and Charts. You can find those charts at www.celtichobbies.com. I do actually think that Sivan is now out of stock, but you can purchase the pattern called Arjesh, A-R-J-E-S-H. It is exactly the same pattern, it's just a different colorway. And so if you want to stitch Sivan and you can't get it, these charts are really hard to get. And so you can ask Claire at Claire is the owner of CelticHobbies.com. You can ask Claire if she's going to get any more in, but I have a funny feeling that it's going to be a long time before any more, I want to call it issues, any more editions of Sivan are going to be back in. And I don't know that for sure, so please ask Claire. But if it's going to be too long or she can't get any more, please purchase a copy of Arjesh and I will just send you the color key from Sivan. But you need to show me that you actually purchased Arjesh. Do you know what I mean? So, and I'm just going to send you a little picture of the color key. But it'll work because they're the exact same pattern. I have already stitched Arjesh. The color keys are different, like the amount of colors are different, but I can't see where it's different. Like I've looked at Arjesh and I've looked at Sivan and they seem to have the same number of colors. So clearly there's a few extra places where there's a couple of extra colors on Arjesh that are not on Sivan. But it's pretty clear that, I mean, they're almost identical. The pattern itself is identical. It's just the color that's different. Okay, so what's next? Once I finish my 24-hour rotation on Sivan, I am pulling back out a really old whip, really old. Like I've been working on this. I started this well before I started Flosstube 2.5 years ago. 2.5 years ago. Can you believe that? I've been talking about stitching for a long time. It's so fun. So this is really, really old project. It's one of my oldest whips. It's one of my most favorite whips, and I don't know why I haven't touched it in over a year. But it is time. I want to make some serious progress on this piece this year, so it's time to pull this one out and start working on it. This is a pattern by Sampler Cove, and I'm not sure you can still get it, and I am not stitching this with the called for colors. So I'll just be upfront about that. I'm actually stitching this with silks that are discontinued by a woman named Vicki Clayton. She used to hand dye and sell silk, floss, and she no longer does. Fortunately, I have enough to complete this because if I didn't, I'd be in big trouble because there are only 3 colors in this pattern. So this is, it's called Amtrak, and it's not like the train like in the States. It has a different meaning, which she explains in the pattern, but I can't off the top of my head remember it. This pattern is so gorgeous. I mean, it's so gorgeous. You know my love of geometric designs. And so this should come as no surprise if you've never seen this one before, that it is in fact a geometric design. And I'm going to show you, it's interchangeable. So this could be the top or the bottom. And I think I've stitched it both ways. So depending on how I'm feeling, I might stitch it this orientation, or I might flip it over and stitch from the other side, because they are, the top and the bottom are the same. So, welcome back, Amtrak. Welcome back to Flosstube. Welcome back into my life, you beautiful piece of stitching. I mean, right? Okay, so my details on this are a little fuzzy for the fabric, but I know it's an even weave. I think, I'm pretty positive it's a 25 count. And that's not gonna focus. There we go, there. Oh, look at that. Look at that beautifulness. So, 25 count even weave, 1 thread over 1. So it is, I'm stitching it teeny, teeny, tiny. And it's so beautiful. So there are 3 colors. The red and the blue, and there is a gray in there. You can see the borders, the outline borders on the inside here are done with a gray. And that's it, just 3 colors. And I love it. And I would love to finish it. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but you know, if I could even just if I could stitch like 3 more inches this year, I'd be happy, because that would be more progress than I've made in the last 2 years on this piece. And it's beautiful. And I know that I have shown this before, and I enabled Letitia, the crafty curator, to start this as well. And her colorway, she chose 3 entirely different colors. I want to say purple, gold, I can't remember Letitia's third color, but it's stunning. So think outside the box. Pick 3 colors that you love and make it your own. You don't have to stitch in the called for colors. These geometric designs are so forgiving. You can stitch them to suit your own tastes. But I just love it. So Amtrak by Sampler Cove is coming back out to play. And I foresee one more stitch with me with the Sivan, and I suspect next week's stitch with me will be this beauty right here. So, and then after that, I will work on one of my samplers, either the Red House sampler or Sarah Dutnell, because I'd like to get back to Sarah Dutnell. Okay, the other thing that I worked on this week was my father-in-law's sock. Not a lot, because my left hand is still kind of bugging me a little bit. I'm not going to talk about it a lot because I'm trying to ignore it. However, when I knit too much with the small needles, it does start to bother me. So I've been taking it slow and steady. But I have finished. So this is sock number 1. These are for my father-in-law. And in a perfect world, I would like to be I would like to be completed by the middle of February. However, he is out of the country until the beginning of April, so I have a funny feeling that that's at the back of my mind, that he's not really back until the beginning of April. So might give myself a little bit of grace time, since I don't want to hurt my hand. So as you can see, I have completed the heel flap. I have also done what is called the heel turn. So what happens is, like magic, you can open this up and all of a sudden we have a 3D shape. So there at the bottom, I have turned the heel turn there, and I've made, that's the start of the bottom of the foot. And now I'm ready to start the gusset decreases. So basically what that means is, you'll see that, so this is a 72 stitch sock. I have 18 stitches on this needle, 18 stitches on this needle, a lot more than that on each of these needles. So all of those extra stitches that I picked up from my heel flap are on here, and what I need to do is I need to go around and around and decrease every other row until I get back to only having 18 stitches on both of these needles as well. And once I've done that, those are called your gusset decreases, and then I just get to knit a lot of round and round and round for the foot till I'm ready to do the toe, and that's it. That's a basic sock construction. They're not that hard. They're a lot of fun to make, and I took a little clip. I'm wearing hand knit socks today. I love wearing hand knit socks. They're so cozy and comfortable, and I'm excited to give these to him because I know he's going to love them. He loves handmade socks, and he hasn't had a new pair in a really long time. So I'm excited to work further on these. Okay, so that's my sock. I've worked a little bit more on Josh's quilt, but not enough. I want to wait until I've got the whole quilt top done to show you. Elizabeth had mentioned, she asked me, she said, don't you know about chain piecing because it'd be a lot faster? I do know about chain piecing, but it's not how I like to do quilt tops that are, this is gonna, I don't know how to describe this. Sewing Josh's quilt for me, yes, I want to get it done. But also when it's not like I'm not making a bag for the shop. I'm making something that I want to enjoy the process, and I want to put thought and care into it. I'm also using fabrics that aren't, you know, I'm pulling a lot of stuff from my scraps. I'm pulling fabric from Josh's godmother's fabric stack. I'm, you know, picking a few other colors here and there. So it's kind of a make it as you go quilt, because some of the white scrap that I'm using, I've got a few of the blocks here, so just to show you. So this is one of the fabrics from her godmother, and these are 2 squares of tonal white from my scrap basket. but I managed to find 2 that were about the same size, and so I used those in here. And I know kind of which bags I made that used this fabric as the liner. I love these tone-on-tone whites, and then they make a really crisp square. And then my other square uses the blue flower. Okay, so I have a number of squares that are like this. But then her godmother also had, she's got 4 or 5 other fabrics in the stack. And so I want to use some of those as well. But also the color hot pink is very special to Josh. It's meaningful, and I know its meaning, and it's meaningful between us because it's a long story and it's kind of personal for Josh and I, but I have some hot pink fabric scraps and I want to put a few little pops of those in there, but I haven't really planned where to put them yet. And so the way that my brain works when I'm making a quilt top like this, and I've only done a couple of them. I don't make quilts generally. I make bags all the time. I'm not really a quilter. So when I'm putting this together for her, and I want it to be thoughtful and all of these different pieces pulled from all these different kind of places, it's, I don't know, I'm taking my time with it, even though I want it done because I really want to send it to her. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? It's a meaningful project to me. And so I don't want to just slam it out in an afternoon. I want to put love and care into it. Not that you can't do that in an afternoon, but do you know what I mean? It's a whole thought process about how I'm putting the top together for Josh. So anyways, that's how the quilt top is going. It's coming slow and steady. It will get done. And then I'm super excited to send it in the mail to her. I think, oh, I purchased something that came in the mail. I mentioned this already, but I didn't show it to you yet. So next week I'm going to do the raffle for the prize donation, the prizes that I'm giving away for the people who donated directly to Muscular Dystrophy Canada and sent me an email. I've got all those emails. I need to answer people, and I'm sorry that I haven't answered most of those emails, but a lot of them would come in, well, you know what December's like, right? And I wanted to make sure that I could sit down and answer them all. So I want to make sure that I have all of them. I have been checking, I've been putting them all into a separate folder in my email, and I've been checking my spam folder because, trust me, believe me, I had a couple of them go into my spam folder. And I know to check there because I know some of the times that I send out Evertote emails to people, they end up in their spam folder, and it's so annoying. So I definitely checked my spam folder. I'm pretty sure I've gotten all of the emails that were sent to me. I want to go through them all this weekend and just send out a quick thank you to everyone who sent me an email saying they donated. But one of the prizes that's up for offer for the raffle for next week are 2 patterns from Krista Gramer, who is just stitching along. And she emailed me and offered these patterns up as prizes. And, well, didn't I just want 2 of my very own? So what I did was I ordered them from Traditional Stitches. Traditional Stitches is in Calgary. Yeah, Calgary. I was thinking Edmonton, but no, they're in Calgary, Alberta. And so this is their, oh my goodness, look at that. That's their card that they send out with their patterns. I'm going to flip this over so that you can see their address. I think their phone number's on there too, is it? Covering it up there. They don't know who I am, so I'm not paid to say anything nice about them or anything like that. I ordered 2 patterns. That sounded, I didn't mean that to sound like, oh, they don't know who I am. Do you know what I mean? That's not how I meant it. I just meant that I thought their customer service was good, and if you're watching this and you're Canadian and you want to order from a Canadian source, I liked them. I thought they were good. They had these on their website, and I had them within 10 days, I think, in the mail. So, Krista Gramer, just stitching along. Miss Lucy Calcutt 1825, which was released in 2018 at Nashville Market. Look at that. And then Miss Lucy Calcutt 1826, which was released 2019 at the Nashville Market. They're beautiful. Krista, they're beautiful. I can't wait to stitch them. I don't know when I'm gonna stitch them, but I just like looking at them because they're so pretty. Look at the birds. Look at the birds. Both of them have birds on them. And I mean, can you imagine? Krista says that she was 8 years old in 1825. So an 8 years old in 1825, and of course 9 years old in 1826. Can you imagine being able to stitch like that at that age? Yeah, age 8. Age 9. Yeah, it's right on the sampler. It's right on the sampler. Oh my goodness, they're just incredible. So I purchased these for myself. And Krista has very generously offered to send one of each to 2 raffle winners. I am going to pull those names next week for the raffle. I will also have 10 size small project bags. I have a beautiful bag set for my friend Dawn from the Codependent Knitters. So it's gonna be fun. I also have 5 charts and special kitty things, kit tea, not kitty, for also, you know, there's a Little House Needleworks. I can't remember what's in there. I did that video like 3 weeks ago. I can't remember what I said yesterday. So I know that I have at least 5. So what is that? That's 5 patterns from me, 10 bags from me. So that's 15 Dawn's bag, 16, 17, 18. 18 prizes I'm going to be giving away next week in the raffle. So I'm going to go through those emails and I'm going to give you a number based on when your email came into me from donating directly to Muscular Dystrophy Canada. And we're going to have some fun next week pulling some raffle winners. So I'm excited about that. All right, shop update news. For Evertote, I make project bags for stitchers and knitters. www.evertote.com. I had a rather large sale at the end of 2019 for Boxing Day, Boxing Week, and I am still trying to work my way through those orders. Y'all like a good sale, which is so, I mean, I am super thrilled, and thank you for placing an order during the sale. I still am working my way through making those bags. So I sent out my first big box of orders today. And the next box of orders will be going out probably Friday morning. So it takes a few days for, from when I purchase postage to when yes, I'm in Canada. The majority of my sales, actually, believe it or not, go to the States. Then Australia and Canada. But the US, I sell most of my bags to my American friends, which is amazing. I love being able to sell all over the world. It's kind of a really neat perk of having an online business and seeing, you know, I've always thought that maybe I should start one of those big maps with the push pins and, oh, I'm sending a bag here, or I'm sending a bag here. And it's just fun, but I digress. The point of that was that I use a shipping carrier that takes my box of orders, and so I pay for postage here, and then I FedEx that box of orders to a carrier in Pickering, and then Pickering, Ontario, and then they take that box over the border with the manifest list of all of the stuff that's inside, because, you know, customs and things like that. So and then they put the box into the US Postal Service. So it can take, that process can take a couple of days. So from the time you get the shipping notice from me as Evertote, it might take 2 to 3 days, sometimes even 4 days, before your tracking number is effectively in the system, because sometimes the FedEx truck doesn't pick up the order. Sometimes there's bad weather and they delay the pickup. And then it has to get to the third-party carrier. They have to input it, and then they have to drive it over the border. So on and so forth. I know. Did you need to know that? I don't know. I think it's interesting. Maybe you did too. I don't know. So when you get that tracking number, sometimes you'll notice it'll take a couple of days to take into effect. So yeah, so the rest of those sale items that were sold, if you purchased during the sale, your order should be in the mail by Friday from me leaving here on Friday. So your tracking number probably won't work until Monday or Tuesday of next week, but it'll be out the door. And then next week I'm going to, my first order of business is to make the 10 small project bags that I'm sending out as raffle prizes. And then after that, I'm going to start working on my next shop update. I have some really exciting things happening in the next couple of months. I have 2 small collaborations that are happening. I'm going to tell you a little sneak bit of information about the first one. The first one is a small collaboration with none other than Michelle Bendy. So you can look for that on February 1st. That's when that's going to be released. And then April 1st, there will be another collaboration with another designer. But I'm going to save that as a secret for a little bit longer. I also have some beautiful bird fabric. I mean, beautiful bird fabric that I'm so excited to work with. It's kind of, it's actually an upholstery fabric that I found. My camera just shut off on me. It told me I was talking for too long. So, bird fabric, right. I found some, just the most gorgeous bird upholstery fabric at the fabric store. It was a little bit spendy, but I thought I really want a bag made out of that. So I'm going to make that up in the next couple of weeks. I hope to have a new shop update with new materials during the, probably at the end of the 3rd week of January. So that what I'm going to try to do is have a bunch of stuff pre-made and some that's pre-order. Does that make sense? Because it's really hard to gauge what is going to sell. Because I may love something. I may think that this bird fabric is the best thing I've seen since sliced bread, but you may hate it. And maybe no one will buy it. I don't know. So if I spend a whole week making, 50 bags and I'm the only one that likes it, then I'm in trouble. So it's kind of a balancing act to know what to make and what to just make a sample of and offer it as a pre-order. So we'll see. Anyways, life, it keeps life interesting and it keeps me sewing, which I love. So that's all good. It's all good. No complaints. I'm looking around and I think I've shared everything. Pretty sure. I think it's gonna take me like 6 hours to edit this video because it's so chopped up, but we'll see what we can do. I wore my favorite sweatshirt today because I felt like it was time to get back to routine, and I wear this sweatshirt all the time. Those of you who have been with me for a while know that I love my cozy magenta sweatshirts. I have 3 of them. They're not all exactly the same, but they're all exactly the same color, so it looks like I'm wearing the same sweatshirt, cardigan slash cozy warm thing. And that's also mainly because I hate to go clothes shopping and I would rather spend my money on other things than clothes. So if you are new here, you may notice that I tend to wear the same thing a lot. I promise it's clean. I don't smell. I think I smell nice. I just bought some new perfume. I know, side note, right? You thought I was done. I'm not done yet. I bought some new perfume and I bought it for myself because, funny story, and John never watches these videos, so I'm going to tell you a funny story. He didn't buy it. I bought this perfume. We were coming through, where did I buy it? I don't even remember where I bought it, but it was in the States. And I won't tell you what it was because I don't want to say something negative about something that really I thought was quite nice. And I thought it was this lovely perfume. And so I was wearing it and on a regular basis. I tend not to wear too much scent out because I know that it can bother people. But when I'm at home, it's mostly for me. And I thought maybe John would think I smelled nice. And, after you have a shower, you put on some perfume, whatever. So I was wearing this perfume and I'd been wearing it for like 3 months. This is not like a, once or twice. This was like 3 months. And one time I came into the kitchen and he said, I think you need to go and take a shower because you smell awful. I said, what are you talking about? I just had a shower. He said, oh, you stink. I don't even think he said it even nicer than that. He told me I stinked. I stank. and I had to go and have a shower. And it turns out it was perfume. He hated the perfume. He hated the perfume. It took him 3 months to tell me that he hated the perfume. I thought it was nice. I liked it. He clearly didn't. So, but he likes it when I wear perfume. He would always say, why don't you wear perfume? So then I go and buy some perfume, I wear it, and he hates it. You know, one of those marriage things, right? So I thought, it was back in November, and I had a little brainwave, and I thought, you know, one of the very first presents that he ever bought me when we started dating, which was years ago, because we've been dating for years. Oh, and he just came home, so I better be quick and tell you the end of the story. So he bought me this perfume. It's called Safari by Ralph Lauren. And I found some on Amazon, and I bought it, and I'm wearing it, and he likes it. So it's all good. I don't stink anymore. Promise. Okay, he's home. I better go now for real. And I'll see you on Friday for Friday Off the Grid. Take care. Happy stitching.